Hi, welcome to the Bible in Your Life Tanakh project. It's day 3 of week 37, and we'll continue to read from the Names of God version. First Chronicles 6 traces the genealogy of the tribe of Levi, highlighting the priestly line of Aaron and the families appointed for temple service, worship, and music in Israel. Without further ado, let's dig in. First Chronicles 6. Levi's descendants. Levi's sons were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Kohath's sons were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. Amram's children were Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. Aaron's sons were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Eleazar was the father of Phinehas. Phinehas was the father of Abishua. Abishua was the father of Bukai. Bukai was the father of Uzai. Uzai was the father of Zeriah. Zeriah was the father of Marioth. Marioth was the father of Amarai. Amarai was the father of Ahitub. Ahitub was the father of Zadok. Zadok was the father of Ahimaaz. Ahimaaz was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Johanan. Johanan was the father of Azariah. He was the one who served as priest in the temple Solomon built in Jerusalem. Azariah was the father of Amariah. Amariah was the father of Ahitub. Ahitub was the father of Zadok. Zadok was the father of Shallum. Shallum was the father of Hilkiah. Hilkiah was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Sariah. Sariah was the father of Jehuzadok. Jehuzadok was taken captive when Yahweh used Nebuchadnezzar to take Judah and Jerusalem away into captivity. Levi's sons were Gershom, Kohath, Merari. These are the names of Gershon's sons, Libni and Shimei. Kohath's sons were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. Merari's sons were Maalai and Mushai. These are the descendants of Levi's sons. They are grouped by families. Gershon's son was Libni. Libni's son was Jahath. Jahath's son was Zimmah. Zimmah's son was Joah. Joah's son was Iddu. Iddu's son was Zerah. Zerah's son was Jehithrai. These were Kohath's descendants. Kohath's sons was Aminadab. Aminadab's son was Korah. Korah's son was Aser. Aser's son was Elkanah. Elkanah's son was Ebiasaph. Ebiasaph's son was Aser. Aser's son was Tahath. Tahath's son was Uriel. Uriel's son was Uzziah. Uzziah's son was Shaul. Elkanah's sons were Amasai and Ahimoth. Ahimoth's sons was Elkanah. Elkanah's son was Zophai. Zophai's son was Nahath. Nahath's son was Eliab. Eliab's son was Jeroham. Jeroham's son was Elkanah. Samuel's sons were Joel, who was his firstborn, and Abijah, who was his second son. These were Merari's descendants. Merari's son was Mahli. Mahli's son was Libnah. Libnah's son was Shimei. Shimei's son was Uzzah. Uzzah's son was Shimea. Shimea's son was Haggiah. Haggai's son was Asaiah. David put men in charge of the music in Yahweh's temple after the ark was placed there permanently. They served as musicians in the courtyard in front of the tent of meeting until Solomon built Yahweh's temple in Jerusalem. They performed their duties according to the regulations set down for them. These are the men who served. Their descendants also served. The musician Heman was from Kohath's family line. Heman was the son of Joel, who was the son of Samuel, who was the son of Elkanah, who was the son of Jeroham, who was the son of Eliel, who was the son of Toah, who was the son of Zuph, who was the son of Elkanah, who was the son of Mahath, who was the son of Amasai, who was the son of Elkanah, who was the son of Joel, who was the son of Azariah, who was the son of Zephaniah, who was the son of Tehath, who was the son of Asir, who was the son of Ebiasaph, who was the son of Korah, who was the son of Izhar, who was the son of Kohath, who was the son of Levi, who was the son of Israel. Haman's relatives, Asaph, stood on his right. He was the son of Berechiah, who was the son of Shemiel, who was the son of Michael, who was the son of Baasel, who was the son of Malchiah, who was the son of Ethni, who was the son of Zerah, who was the son of Adar, who was the son of Ethan, who was the son of Zimah, who was the son of Shimei, who was the son of Jahath, who was the son of Gershom, who was the son of Levi. On the left of Ethan, one of Heman's relatives descended from Merari. Ethan was the son of Kishai, who was the son of Abdai, who was the son of Maluk, who was the son of Hashabiah, who was the son of Amaziah, who was the son of Hilkiah, who was the son of Amzai, who was the son of Bani, who was the son of Shemir, who was the son of Malai, who was the son of Mushai, who was the son of Merari, who was the son of Levi. Their relatives, the Levites, were assigned all the other duties in the tent, the house of Elohim. Aaron and his descendants offered sacrifices on the altar for burnt offerings and on the altar for incense. They did all the work in the most holy place and removed Israel's sins to make Israel acceptable to God. They did exactly what Elohim's servant Moses had commanded. These were Aaron's descendants. His son was Eleazar. Eleazar's son was Phinehas. Phinehas' son was Abishai. Abishua's son was Bukai. Bukai's son was Uzai. Uzai's son was Zeriah. Zeriah's son was Meraioth. Meraioth's son was Amariah. Amariah's son was Ahitub. Ahitub's son was Zadok. Zadok's son was Ahimaaz. The cities belonging to Levi's descendants. These are the places where Levi's descendants lived, the places where they settled in the territory chosen for them when lots were drawn. The first lot was drawn for the descendants of Aaron from the family descendants of Kohath. They were given Hebron in the territory of Judah as well as the pasture land around it. But the fields belonging to the city and its villages were given to Caleb, son of Jephunneh. Aaron's descendants were given Hebron as a city of refuge, Libnah with the pasture land, Jatir, Eshtemoa with its pasture land, Hilen with its pasture land, Debir with its pasture land, Ashan with its pasture land, and Beth Shemesh with its pasture land. From the tribe of Benjamin, Aaron's descendants received Gibor with the pasture land, Alemeth with its pasture land, and Anathoth with its pasture land. There was a total of 13 cities for their families. The rest of Kohath's descendants received 10 cities chosen by lot from the families of half of the tribe of Manasseh. The families of Gershon's descendants were given 13 cities chosen by lot from the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and the part of the tribe of Manasseh that lived in Bashan. The families of Merari's descendants were given 12 cities chosen by lot from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the Israelites gave the Levites the cities with the pasture lands. They gave them the cities chosen by lot and mentioned here by name from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. Some of the families of Kohath's descendants had cities chosen by lot from the tribe of Ephraim. They were given these cities of refuge: Shechem with its pasture land in the hills of Ephraim, Jazer with its pasture land, Jokmeam with its pasture land, Beth-horon with its pasture land, Ahijalon with its pasture land, and Gath-rimmon with its pasture land. From half of the tribe of Manasseh, they were given Aner with its pasture land and Bileam with its pasture land for the families of the rest of Kohath's descendants. Gershom's descendants received Golan in Bashan with its pasture land, as Ashtaroth with its pasture land from the families of half of the tribe of Manasseh. From the tribe of Issachar, they received Kedesh with its pasture land, Deberath with its pasture land, Ramoth with its pasture land, and Enen with its pasture land. From the tribe of Asher, they received Mashal with its pasture land, Abdon with its pasture land, Hukok with its pasture land, and Rehob with its pasture land. From the tribe of Naphtali, they received Kedesh in Galilee with its pasture land, Hammon with its pasture land, and Kiriathaim with its pasture land. The rest of Merari's descendants received Rimono with its pasture land, and Tabor with its pasture land from the tribe of Zebulun. From the tribe of Reuben, Merari's descendants received land east of the Jordan River and across from Jericho, Bezar in the wilderness with its pasture land, Jaza with its pasture land, Kedemoth with its pasture land, and Mephath with its pasture land. From the tribe of Gad, they received Ramoth in Gilead with its pasture land, Mahanaim with its pasture land, Heshbon with its pasture land, and Jazer with its pasture land. Thanks for stopping by. Feel free to join us on Sundays for our weekly discussion on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. The details for this Zoom meeting can be found in the description below. Be blessed.